Hi, everyone. This module is to talk about the isotonic delivery system and what truly makes it a unique system, better than many of the products that are available in the market today, even those within the professional channel. When we think about the isotonic delivery system, throughout the years, I've been asked three questions over and over again. I'd like to take the time to answer those here. Number one question I get asked, the most frequent question I get asked: why is there sugar in isotonics? The carbohydrates that are in isotonics, the monosaccharides, glucose and fructose, actually work to enhance bioavailability of the product. We often talk about in a better absorption, better bioavailability, efficient transport. It's actually the carbohydrates that are in isotonics that take care of this. We often talk about the best of raw ingredients, but it's necessary to get those very good ingredients to the site of cellular activity and to make sure that they are not degraded by stomach acid. That's the number one reason why we put carbohydrates in the isotonic line, is to make sure that those carbohydrates control for what's called gastric emptying, or how quickly does the solution in isotonics leave the stomach and move into the small intestine. It's in fact the carbohydrates and other inactive ingredients in isotonics, like the potassium bicarbonate, the citric acid, and the malic acid, that allow this to take place. The biggest benefit to a user of isotonics, and the reason why this is such a revolutionary way to deliver nutrients, is because this carbohydrate load ensures not just an efficient delivery from the stomach, but also ensures that the vital nutrients that are found in the isotonic line are protected from stomach acid. Many of the competitor lines out there today take no steps to protect the botanicals, vitamins, and minerals found in their products from decay by stomach acids. Or if they do, they're using lab-created fillers and binders to do it. And while lab-created fillers and binders may be a part of the industry, isotonics with their carbohydrates make them completely unnecessary, because the carbohydrates move the product quickly and efficiently in a controlled fashion from the stomach into the small intestine with very little time exposed to stomach acid, therefore eliminating the need for the fillers and binders that might gunk up metabolism or make metabolism or utilization of these nutrients sluggish, but also makes sure that the nutrients are not exposed to stomach acid for a prolonged period of time. The second reason to use carbohydrates instead of fillers and binders in a product is to ensure better nutrient transport. Those carbohydrates do control for how quickly something leaves the stomach and moves into the small intestine. But they have another superpower, and that is to literally drag nutrients across the cell membrane and into the bloodstream. They improve bioavailability or absorption of these nutrients. The nutrient or the digestive tract is full of nutrient shuttles, but it's run by transport molecules, and sugars are one of those transport molecules. So those carbohydrates, the non-GMO source, fructose and glucose that are in the products, literally drag nutrients across that membrane and into the bloodstream, which makes it a much better solution. Not only have we found a way to eliminate fillers and binders, not only have we found a way to limit exposure to stomach acid that would otherwise degrade the concentration of these active nutrients, the carbohydrates in isotonics also help pull those nutrients across the cell membrane and into the bloodstream. So even an individual that has a tore up gut, does not have the best digestion, right, to break down a tablet or a capsule or a soft gel, isotonics fill that gap for them because it uses carbohydrates for that nutrient drag and nutrient absorption into the bloodstream. Now, I do get asked this question quite a bit. What about blood sugars? Do I need to be concerned about blood sugars when I take an isotonic product? Keep in mind, the amount of carbohydrates that are found in an isotonic are quite low, sometimes as little as 1 gram per capful, but never more than 2 grams in a capful. And what that means is with select nutrient mixing and customization of your isotonics, you're actually able to not just control for that better absorption, but you're also able to count those grams of sugar that come from the isotonics. But even if you are someone that's not discriminating between the number of capfuls that you take, also keep in mind that glucose and fructose are in the isotonics, but fructose is the predominant sugar that is in the isotonic line. And we source this from beets. And that's an important factor for another question that often comes up about people that are concerned about the source of the sugars. Is it corn? Is it beets? Is it high fructose corn syrup? Is it a non-GMO carbohydrate? So it's a non-GMO carbohydrate in both cases, whether we're talking about glucose that comes from corn or we're talking about fructose that comes from beets. In addition to that, it is a low carbohydrate load or glycemic load, not just because of the low number of grams of carbohydrates that are in isotonics, but also because there is a resistant maltodextrin in the product. Again, just like the fructose and the glucose, sourced non-GMO resistant maltodextrin that can control for how quickly the sugars that are in isotonics are absorbed or used. Not only is it a low load of carbohydrates, but that resistant maltodextrin also slows down the rise of glucose and fructose absorption into the bloodstream. So they're able to do the job they were meant to do, which is assist nutrient transport without raising blood sugars. The other benefits to using a resistant maltodextrin in the isotonics is that resistant maltodextrins make it to the large intestine for better fermentation in the gut. Maltodextrin in a resistant starch is actually just like your soluble fibers. It's a non-digestible starch. And what that does is create a very good micronutrient as well as microbiome environment in the large intestine. One of the best things that we can do to create a healthy gut environment is to make sure that we have plenty of resistant starches to create an environment for healthy probiotic diversity. And that's one of the powers of the resistant maltodextrin that we use in the product. Now, I did mention that the sugars come from corn and come from beets. So individuals that are concerned about corn allergies should know that there are no protein or corn proteins or beet proteins, vegetable proteins found in the isotonic line. In fact, these are simply the carbohydrates, which do not precipitate an allergy response to individuals that have corn allergies to food. That's not to say that someone with a corn sensitivity or someone that has a strict zero tolerance for corn in their diet doesn't want to know which products have the corn glucose or the corn maltodextrin in them. All isotonics have corn maltodextrin in them. It is sourced non-GMO for those that their zero tolerance has to do not with the corn product, but actually with the quality of that product being non-GMO. Individuals that avoid corn strictly because of a corn sensitivity can look at different options for their supplements. It's not just isotonics that the company does well. In fact, we focus on delivery throughout the entire product line. And often we're able to meet any individual patient, client, or customer need with the diversity of our product line. For those that can tolerate corn, they may find one of the best ways to use isotonics, if corn is still a concern for them, is to actually take a personal inventory of where corn is sneaking into their life. If we can limit that corn to simply the isotonic line and avoid many of the processed foods or poor quality corn products that are often found in diet today, then we're able to make a qualified choice about our tolerance for corn products. In addition to that, for people that would like to eliminate corn or to be more selective about their corn products, you may want to look at the isotonic lines that just use fructose as their sugar carbohydrate. Now remember, all isotonics have a corn-based non-GMO maltodextrin in them. Certain products have more or less maltodextrin in them. All of them are in the very small milligram amounts, less than 100 milligrams of maltodextrin. None of the isotonic lines reach gram doses of maltodextrin in the product, meaning that the amount of corn maltodextrin is very small or is controlled for or limited within the isotonic line. When we also look at questions that get asked, it's about any concerns that someone may have about allergies. What is the purpose of maltodextrin? Do I require carbohydrates or glucose and fructose in the product to make the isotonics happen? It's important to know that all of the inactive ingredients, not just the active ingredients that are in isotonics, are necessary to create that pH balanced solution that will stimulate cells in the bottom of the stomach so that the solution is registered in that hyperosmotic solution and moves from the stomach into the small intestine effortlessly. It is in fact those carbohydrates that are required to pull or drag nutrients from the lumen of the small intestine and into the bloodstream. It is what allows the nutrients to be intact and concentrated, ready to do the job that they were meant to do. There are so many different products that are available through the line that it is possible to meet each and every consumer, patient, or client's needs simply by sitting down and having a personal consultation and evaluating what are the best solutions for you and how can we create a product regimen for you designed specifically for you and your quality of life goals. I hope this answered some of your questions about why are there carbohydrates in isotonic? Does the maltodextrin have a purpose, and what purpose is that? And if I'm concerned about corn, what are some of the things that I need to know so I can make an educated decision about the benefits of isotonics and how I may integrate those into a regimen, or why I may want to speak to someone to coach me through a consultation on some of my other options to meet my very best life with the very best supplements in the market.